Hello guys and welcome to D's Media World. Today we'll be doing episode 18 in my Inuyasha review series, Naraku and Sesshomaru Join Forces. So this is the 18th episode of Inuyasha. The last time I think we saw Sesshomaru, I could look back, I think it was like episode 6 or something like that. He was in 3 straight episodes. And in that episode, basically, Inuyasha cut off his arm. Completely cut his whole arm off. And so now Sesshomaru's pissed off about... He's more pissed off about the Tenseiga, though, I noticed. In fact, you would think he would want to kill Inuyasha alone just because he cut his arm off. Like, that would be enough of wanting revenge. But he's just pissed he didn't get the sword. He's not even that upset that he lost his arm, it seems. He's just more pissed off that Inuyasha still has the Tenseiga. So, Naraku gives Sesshomaru a human arm because somehow Naraku knows about the Tenseiga. Like, I'm not sure how Naraku knows, Inuyasha's whereabouts. He even knows about Miroku and everything. But he gives Sesshomaru a human arm with a jewel shard embedded in it so he can grab the Tenseiga. I'm kind of surprised Sesshomaru didn't notice this himself because he saw Kagome take the sword out, and the only explanation for that was that she was a human. And that only humans in Inuyasha, really, I guess half demons could too, can wield it or touch the Tenseiga without getting hurt. So I'm surprised Sesshomaru didn't realize that himself. But anyway, the jewel shard part I know is so it can actually connect to Sesshomaru's arm because his entire arm is gone. Before even all that happened, there was a small recap of the Inuyasha Kikyo's situation that won't be addressed till probably 2 episodes or so from now. So that's not important right now. Sesshomaru wants, in my notes I have that Jockin, gets yelled at from Sesshomaru for giving him a useless arm. And he gave him like a dragon's claw or something. But I want to know how Jockin got him that arm. That's kind of impressive considering how small Jockin is and can't really fight. Like, how did he get that arm without getting killed in the process? That's what I was curious about. This is a big note. This is the first actual appearance of Naraku in the show. I mean, he's mentioned in episode 16 when we first meet Miroku. But if I remember correctly, we didn't see his form at all. We just know that he could shapeshift. But here we see that, Naraku, he wears a baboon suit. We won't actually know what he looks like for a little while, but this is just a hint of, this Naraku character actually is important. And he did probably play, he obviously has something against Inuyasha. He's trying to get Sesshomaru in there. How he knows about any of this, I don't know. That's up to, the show to answer that question, but it is intriguing. So we cut over to Miroku, Kagome, and Inuyasha. They're all grouped now, and basically we find out, kind of what we knew from Miroku's character, that he's a little bit of a scammer. Like, he'll try to help out villagers, but in order to basically get a place to stay or get some food or something. He didn't steal anything this time. And there's a little joke in there that's funny about, what does Inuyasha want him to do? Because I know Miroku, they heard Sesshomaru's demon coming, and Inuyasha was like, we gotta fight, and Miroku was like, nope, it's time to run. He's like, I'm not gonna sit here, if I know I can't fight this demon or whatever, I'm leaving. Common sense to me as a human especially, but Inuyasha will fight any and everything if he thinks he'll get a jewel shard or whatever, if he feels threatened. Sesshomaru comes in. He talks a lot of smack in this episode. Seeing the banter between him and Inuyasha is always really amusing. Because as much as Sesshomaru is more aristocratic than Inuyasha, and but he's not. He's petty too. He won't admit it. But he can be petty when he wants to be. I mean, he's talking all that smack to Inuyasha because he can wield the Tenseiga. I did notice, though, that Sesshomaru did transform the Tenseiga. And it must be because he has a human arm. Because I remember in that episode, Inuyasha couldn't transform the Tenseiga until he said, I'm going to protect Kagome. But here, Sesshomaru is clearly using it as, for evil. But he was able to transform the Tenseiga on his own. It wasn't like Inuyasha had it. Because I watched. He clearly transformed the Tenseiga on his own. So I don't know if there's an explanation for that. We don't learn about that. But we learn that Sesshomaru knows more about the sword than Inuyasha does. and slays 100 demons in one strike. That's one of the big things that the Tenseiga can do, is it can slay. What it really means, as I noticed in the show later on, is that it can slay 100 weak demons in one strike, which is pretty good. But like Inuyasha will later on use it on like 1 or 2 demons, and it might not work. Like it depends on how powerful the demon is, because there's different classes of demons in the show. Oh, we see that Miroku, he tries to help out and uses this wind scar against Draken and Sesshomaru. They throw the Samyosho. That's the word. They use that in the English version too. Samyosho. They're basically these evil yellow jacket looking creatures, and they basically poison Miroku's wind tunnel. How they do that, I don't know. Like, because it's an empty hole. It's an empty hole basically. And Miroku has sucked up animals and people and things like that, and he never feels the effects of it. But somehow Naraku knew this poison would work. I'm curious how the poison works now that I think about it. Because, Miroku, he's sucked up demons too, and he's never had any negative effects from sucking up something that's evil. So I wonder what these evil yellow jack, these Samosho, really do to him. I don't know. But they poison him. Nothing much else happens in this episode. Inuyasha uses his sword to block the Tenseiga from killing him when Sesshomaru is using it. Sesshomaru's being a jerk to Inuyasha. This is clearly preempt for what's going to happen in the next episode. It ends with Kagome shooting her arrow because Sesshomaru was about to kill Inuyasha, and Kagome, I think she went to go get some medicine for Miroku. I think that's what she was supposed to be doing, or she was. I don't really remember, but Kagome shoots her arrow at the Tenseiga and de-transforms it. Even though Sesshomaru technically could transform it back, I guess. I don't know. And then everyone's like, wow. Like, the episode ends with everyone just being shocked. So that's the general summary of what happens. Not a whole lot happens in this episode if you think about it. It's clearly going to be finished in the next one. But I still enjoyed it. I love seeing Sesshomaru. He's an interesting character. I was saying that these characters kind of come in rotation. Like right when you probably are starting to wonder, hey, what's Sesshomaru up to? He comes back, because it's been, I can check my notes. I'm sure it's been more than 10 episodes since he last showed up. Let me check real quick. Let's see. Yeah, because we hadn't seen Shippo. Yeah, the last episode we saw him was episode 7. I was right. And Miroku finds out that's Inuyasha's brother. I realized Shippo seemed to sort of know who he was, even though he hadn't met Sesshomaru before. Maybe they forgot that they knew him. I don't know. Inuyasha, Inuyasha's noble in this episode. He's funny. He's still himself, hard-headed, but you don't blame him. I mean, this is like the only thing he has is the sword. So of course he's gonna fight to the death for it, especially when it belongs to him. It's what his father intentionally left for him on this earth. So of course, it makes sense for Inuyasha to want his sword. Sesshomaru, Sesshomaru's petty, and he's an interesting character. You say this now, but he'll become less so later on in the show. It's fun to see Miroku fight, but also be comic relief at times. He's a silly character, but he's a friend and everything. I like characters like that when they can be comic relief, but they're actually useful. Like, yeah, he got poisoned and hurt and couldn't really fight anymore, but he did do something. He did the best he could. In fact, nobody saw the Samosho coming, so, nothing to say about that. Kagome, I don't really have anything to say about Kagome in this one. She's always trying to help, but can't really, she's one of those people who talks more than what they actually can do. Like, she kind of talks smack. She's she's overconfident, but she can't, it's more, but you understand why she can't do what she's doing. Like, it doesn't come off as cocky necessarily. It's just, she kind of tries to puff herself up, I guess. And she definitely tries to be Inuyasha's cheerleader at times. She's never disloyal. That's probably her best attribute. She's never been disloyal or being like, in fact, she's like I made a joke I think once about Kagome, is that she's like the ultimate side chick or something. Like she's that girl. She'll always be there for you no matter how you act, no matter what you're doing. So I'll talk about that more later. But that's basically this episode. So I'll see y'all in the next one. And remember, I do have the episode down below if you haven't seen it yet. See you later.